I just got a new PC, so let's unbox it.
Yeah, I'm feeling tipsy. I'm on the move. We're getting frisky. We're in the groove. People are smiling, and the music is on fire. The lights are turning me on.
This is the MSI Aegis RS2 AI, and ew, is that a pre-built PC? Ugh. Yeah, what's wrong with it? It's 2025, bro. Yeah, but you're literally missing out on the entire experience and joy of building your own PC from scratch. The joy of what? You mean?
The soul-crushing experience of stripping a motherboard standoff screws so that you can't even install your motherboard in the case, not realizing you installed case fans in the wrong push-pull configuration, finding out after you installed the fans that you need a compatible hub to run RGB properly, then having to figure out how to daisy chain that mess, followed by being overwhelmed by tangled mess of power supply cables, or realizing you can't find a USB stick at home to install Windows and boot up your PC the first time.
Okay, yeah, I still have nightmares about that. Exactly, and look, I'd go through all of that again any day, any night, all day long, because I think building PCs are just such a rewarding experience, and not to mention such a fun journey, almost like a rite of passage even. But let's be for reals, especially for people who don't know much about PCs at all, it's gonna be a massive, time-consuming, and nerve-wracking experience, which is where this pre-built PC comes in. And honestly, it's perfect for people who don't have the time to commit to learning how to build a PC from scratch, not to mention a great gift that you can just ship directly to their house stress-free. And honestly, the old argument of you're paying a huge premium for a pre-built is starting to fade away in this day and age. This specific model I have here is the MSI Aegis RS2 AI with an Intel Core Ultra 7 processor, 265K, a NVIDIA GeForce RTX 5070, 2 TB of PCIe Gen 4 storage, and 32 gigs of DDR5 RAM, which honestly is a powerhouse for the majority of people. And taking a look at Newegg in the US, it starts at $16.99 USD with the sale pricing, and for Canada, it has an on-sale price of $27.99 Canadian, which sounds just about right for a PC with these type of specs. And just out of curiosity, I decided to use PC Part Picker to spec out a PC build with very similar components, using Canada Computers as the vendor with often the lowest prices compared to something like Amazon. And would you look at that, literally almost the same price, and that's not even including a Windows license, the wait time for all the parts to arrive, not to mention availability of the components, and hours of labor from building it yourself. So honestly, the value proposition is quite strong here, with even a mechanical keyboard and mouse included in the box. But enough talk, let's actually dive into the PC to check out the components and the quality of them, and see if this pre-built PC is even worth it. And just for transparency, in case you guys didn't see the paid partnership tag already, this video is graciously sponsored by MSI Canada, but everything in this video is from my own honest opinions and thoughts, and you'll be able to see for yourself what this build is like. Alright, let's start with the PC case, in which I like how minimalist it is, even with the game redesign with those angular front panels. It makes the PC look more three-dimensional, and I also like how they use a different pattern for the top portion of the front panel. I actually love the white version so much too. I wish I got sent that one for review instead, but anyways, they definitely prioritized maximum airflow here with the mesh design, as there's nothing covering the intake for those front fans, which is great for these hot summer days. And cleaning is made easy too with these removable magnetic dust filters on the top and the bottom. And speaking of the top in terms of I/O, in which I'm really happy they put it on the top for better aesthetics, not to ruin the front, you get a USB 3.2 Gen 1 Type A port, and luckily a USB 3.2 Gen 1 Type C port. There's even an RGB cycle button for easy access to different preset effects with a 3-second press, in which you can also do so from the MSI Center for more fine control. And speaking of the RGB, I absolutely love the fact that MSI included as many fans as possible by filling up the front panel with 3 120mm fans, and also the back as well. And obviously, you can trust that MSI set it up in the correct push-pull configuration, which is very important when building a PC. That's not the cool part though, because I think what absolutely steals the show is the insane looking 360mm all-in-one liquid cooler, which is so much better looking aesthetics wise than an air cooler. And that CPU block, it just looks insanely unique with the intricate patterns in which the RGB shines through so brightly and vividly, and the fact that it's encased in a fully see-through transparent casing just seals the deal. I'm serious, like I can't find a better looking CPU block on MSI's entire website, so just imagine my shock when I opened this PC for the first time. Anyways, now that we're talking about the insides of the PC, I have to point out that this case is designed to easily open on both sides with the thumb screws, in which you just push out the panel and then lift it up, which is super simple and completely toolless. We have to now talk about the motherboard though, in which it's the second star of the show, and again, completely surprised me because if you take one look at this, you'll notice the complete lack of cables going into the motherboard at all, and that's because this is the incredible and innovative Project Zero motherboard that MSI developed years ago. And you know, fun story, I've actually been following the development of Project Zero from the very beginning, and even got my close roommate back then to make a Project Zero MSI build, in which the new concept I saw at CES earlier this year looks even more epic. But yeah, the pictures listed on the retailers do not do this PC justice by not showing this motherboard. But yeah, this specific model is the MSI Pro Z890PZ, and if you look at the back of the PC, you can see that all the cables are actually coming out from the back of the motherboard, which not only hides them from the other side, but makes them much easier to plug in instead of fishing cables through the front of the case if you ever want to upgrade in the future. And also, thumbs up to MSI for the cable management here, because honestly, it's better than what I could do even on my own PC back there. But yeah, I don't have the patience for that anyways. This motherboard is also packed full of premium features too, like the heat sinks across the board that keep all the chipsets and components cool while hiding the PCB for a super duper clean look. There's even an easy PCIe clip that allows you to easily detach and attach the GPU for installation, which makes life a lot easier, especially if you want to upgrade the graphics card in the future. And there's also just so many safety features and protocols that have been integrated in the motherboard that it's just phenomenal. The ports you get are also stacked of 6 USB 3.2 Gen 1 Type A ports, a 20 gigabit per second USB 3.2 Gen 2X2 Type C port, whew, that was a handful, and a full-blown Thunderbolt 4 port capable of 40 gigabits per second. I actually love that there are 2 fast USB-C slots, as I can use a 20 gigabit one for my external SSDs for editing, and the Thunderbolt port to connect directly to my NAS server for massive file transfers, which will really make my workflow a lot more efficient. Oh, and one last thing I love is that MSI actually slapped an entire sticker covering the display out ports on the motherboard to prevent people new to PCs from connecting their monitors into the wrong ports, in which you're supposed to plug them into the graphics card. And also, if you're asking about Wi-Fi, it does come with the Intel Wi-Fi 7 BE200 chip, which on every device I've tested so far gives me the fastest and most reliable connection ever. Not to mention, you'll be able to future-proof yourself with the ability to connect to 6 GHz frequency bands on future routers, with the potential for up to 5.8 gigabit per second transfer speeds and ultra-low latency down to 2 milliseconds. And for Ethernet users, the one on this PC can also do 2.5 gigabits per second, so you're covered there as well. Let's finally talk about the performance of this PC though, starting with what's under the AIO block, the Intel Core Ultra 7 processor 265K, which is the latest generation of Intel's 200 series CPUs that run on the new Z890 platform. It comes with 8 performance cores and 12 efficiency cores for a total of 20, with a max turbo frequency of a whopping 5.5 gigahertz, and it's honestly just a beast for pretty much everything you throw at it, whether it's for gaming and especially productivity tasks, as the multi-core and the multi-threading performance is still the best, especially when compared to AMD. And especially for creators like me, Intel chips have quick sync technology, which make editing still superior on an Intel platform. Not to mention, the actual focus of this new Intel lineup is the push and breakthrough for AI performance with the improved NPU in this chip, which really help accelerate local AI tasks and workflows, which will start mattering more and more into the future. And as for graphics, it's packing the latest NVIDIA GeForce RTX 5070 with 12 gigabytes of GDDR7 VRAM, which honestly is good enough for the majority of you without breaking the bank for something like an RTX 5080, which is insanely priced. And fun story, I was actually at the live keynote event during CES in Vegas, so I actually got to learn a lot about the improvements the new 50 series of graphics cards bring, which I would really love to explain to those of you who are unfamiliar right now. So first is DLSS 4 and its use of AI to generate fake frames, which has been so controversial, but honestly speaking, after seeing it live in person at the demos, it's honestly quite impressive and hard to tell a difference, in which it's only gonna get better as the tech progresses, so let's wait and see. But yeah, the main point is DLSS 4 can now generate up to 3 additional frames per traditionally rendered frame compared to the singular one from DLSS 3, which significantly increases frame rates even if ray tracing turned on. And if you want a deeper dive about this, my close friend John has an amazing video about this with real hands-on time inside NVIDIA's booth at CES. Anyways, another feature is the updated NVIDIA Reflex 2, which reduces the latency of your mouse inputs and movements by up to 75%, which would be really good for competitive gaming, and especially those of you who play FPS shooters, because how it works is by updating a rendered frame based on your latest mouse input right before it's sent to the display. But for creators like me who don't game a lot, the updated 5th generation Tensor cores, it's where it's truly at, especially when combined with the 265K Intel chip, with massive AI performance boosts and generative AI capabilities. That means for DaVinci Resolve, which is my editing software of choice, I get blazing fast performance in AI tools like AI masking, AI set extender, AI voice isolation, and stuff like AI IntelliScript, which generates a timeline for me based on my script, which is a very handy tool that I've been enjoying a lot. The 12GB of GDDR7 VRAM is also great for me as someone who edits with a ton of high bitrate 4K footage, with its ability to handle multiple layers of my timeline for smooth playback, which is so important for saving me precious time. And I know I didn't dive that deeply into gaming, as I'm not the biggest gamer right now due to all my time being taken up by creating content, but I really like how on Newegg you can actually see the predicted frame rates for various games on the listing with different monitor resolutions, and plus there are a ton of channels that will have benchmarking videos for this i7 and 57 combo, so make sure to check those out if you're curious. And finally, for RAM and storage, I'd say here is really the only place where I can send some cost-cutting measures, in which for the SSD, you're getting 2TB of a lower tier WD Green SN3000 chip, but that's not an issue at all considering you're still getting a blazing 5,000 megabytes read and 4,200 megabytes write speeds. And I will note that this motherboard actually comes with a PCIe 5 compatible slot for M.2 SSDs if that's something you want to upgrade in the future, not to mention having the capability to cool it with a built-in heat shield. And as for RAM, you are getting 32 gigs of DDR5 RAM, in which they're using XPG sticks, but after doing a little bit of digging in the control panel, it looks like they're only running at 4,800 mega transfers per second, which is fine, but I would have loved to see around 6,000, not to mention some RGB sticks wouldn't hurt at all. But again, easily upgradable in the future if you want that sort of thing. And last but not least, MSI includes a 750 watt power supply, and to my surprise, they didn't cheap out and used an 80 plus gold rated PSU instead of an 80 plus bronze like we usually see. That's great for both efficiency and a better peace of mind for safety. So yeah, now that we've talked through the entirety of the build and the components, it's clear that MSI has really put in the effort to make a pre-built PC sourced of high quality components and really change that stigma of pre-built PCs using trashy OM parts that just don't look good with many cost-cutting measures. And especially on sale, I would have absolutely no problems recommending this to anyone who doesn't want to take the risk of, building their own PC, or if they don't have the time, or simply just want to gift it to someone stress-free. And yes, I know this is sponsored, but I hope you guys can see with your own eyes for yourself the quality of this PC that I just showed and broke down for you guys, and I'm actually really interested to hear your thoughts on what you think about this pre-built and if it's something you guys would consider instead of building your own. And if you have any questions for me about this as well, feel free to leave them down below in the comments for me to answer, in which I hope you guys gain some valuable insights from this video. And if you're still here, by the way, thank you so much for watching and the support, and make sure to leave a sunglasses emoji down below so I know you're a real one. Also, shout out to MSI Canada again for sponsoring this video and believing in me. And as always, make sure to smash a like and subscribe button and check out the other awesome content on my channel, in which I really hope to do more and more in PC laptop reviews soon. And on that note, have a great one, and I'll see you guys in the next one.